Okay, we are going to make a stencil using the final date process. What I've already done is went out and held up the card and took a photo with my iPhone. I already had the final date website. I had already logged into it and I uploaded a photo and it processed it. I knew immediately that it was good because it turned green. And now it's in my system and I'm going to download it. And then I'm using Corel Draw here and I'm going to import the image that I just downloaded. And you can see by all the different colors here that it has been through the system and it's done its magic and made sure it was straightened out and that the size was accurate to true life. So what I normally do is make sure the image is a bit rotated. So I'm just going to rotate it and make sure my line is straight, because when I add my other inscription on the other side, I'm going to use this to make sure they line up perfectly. Okay, that's pretty close. So I usually go in and crop it just so I'm dealing with this one area. And something that I often do, I found it a helpful tool for customer approval. I'll go into Photoshop real quick and just edit out the final date card so I'm not seeing it. So I can put my new inscription on there and send it to the family for approval if I want it to, and they're not looking at that final date card. So I'm gonna go ahead and save that change. And now you can see back in Corel, the final date image is gone and I'm working with just a black surface. So the first thing I'm going to do is I usually just start with the name, and of course the new name I'm going to put on is not Barbara, but I usually type in the name that's already there, so I'm matching letter for letter. And it's a little bit easier to to match a capital B to a capital B instead of a capital C to a capital B. So I usually go in and take out the fill of my lettering and add a red outline, a very thin one, so I can see that this is going to line up exactly. And then I just play with it until I feel like I have a good match. This is very helpful in case, as you can see, my spacing is a little bit off, that the A isn't matched up here, but I know my size is right and I can work with the spacing a little bit to make that perfect. I don't know that it's really going to matter all that much on the other side. But it's very helpful when you're dealing with, if somebody had worked with lettering and condensed it, and it's not, it's the right font, but it's not looking correct because it's squished. You can go in here, and if that B was more narrow, you can go and do that to make it match. So it really is a matter of just messing with your image until you get it where it looks like an exact match. When I've done that, I had it almost perfect. I feel like that's a good match. I'll move it over to the other side and I will type in the new name. And I'll go back here and do the same thing with the dates. Again, I'm just going to type out the date that's already there so I can match up the letters exactly. I'll again take out the fill and add the red line. One of the most helpful things here is this technology that's helping us is really helping us with the technology that made final dates more difficult. That looks like a pretty good match to me. So we'll go with that. Now that we've started doing all of our design work on computer, we're not locked into using particular sizes anymore. Back in the day when we were using the stamped letters, it was either 1 inch, 3/4 inch, or 1 1/4 inch, and it was very easy to match. Now people can make it any size in between, making it almost impossible to get, an accurate measurement, much less a match, without several tries of the printer. Here I'm not really concerned with measuring how big the letters are. I just know that they match. So I'm going to go in, and on his side we're going to type beloved, but we'll go ahead and type in the wife so we could get the good match. And that is almost perfect, so make a small adjustment, use that, move that to the other side. Okay, now we have everything the correct size. Now we have to just line it up. So usually at this point I change the color to white, and then I'll use these guidelines to line up horizontally the name and dates with the side that's already engraved. Oops. And again, this is another one of these things that makes it so much faster using eFinal date than using rubbings, is getting this this spacing up and down in between each line, especially if I used to use a printer and I would print out, say, the March and the April, and then I would compare it to my rubbing and make sure that space was right. And if what was printing on your paper was, if it had to shrink it down to fit on the page, then it wasn't accurate. So I'd have to print it out in separate pieces, and it would just take forever. I mean, anybody who's done final dates knows how tedious it can be. And this is actually kind of fun. So anyways, I'm here, and it looks like I've lined up everything, across, and I know that over on this side there's nothing going to impede where his name is going to go. So when my guy goes out to the cemetery, he has a perfect image to work with. I'll often print this for him in case he's at the cemetery and he wonders, does it go down here or does it go up top? I'm giving him the perfect illustration of where it goes without him having to ask. So this has been a great tool, and it is very time saving, and I loved using it.